When we are subtracting numbers, there's two rules that we're going to use. We're going to use this first rule right here. The opposite of negative a, or you can say the opposite of the opposite of a. So two opposites are going to make a positive. So the opposite of a negative is a positive. The opposite of a negative is a positive. So the opposite of negative a is going to be positive a. That's the first rule that we're going to use, or that we're going to need. And another rule that we're going to need is when we're subtracting two values, that can be changed to addition. A minus b is the same as, that's what equals means, it's the same as a plus the opposite of b. So a minus b is equal to a plus the opposite of b. And we're going to use those right here. We're going to do some problems. Let's try 2 minus 6. Are we going to use our first rule or our second rule? Rule and our number 2 rule. Is this our number 1 rule or our number 2 rule? This is going to be number 2. We're going to rewrite this as 2 plus negative 6. Now I'm going to use the rule for addition. I've got different signs. 2 is positive. 6 is negative. Different signs subtract. 6 minus 2 is 4. Take the sign of the larger value. 6 has a larger value than 2. 6 is negative, so my answer will be negative. Okay, let's try another. 4 minus negative 9. That's going to use rule number 1. 4 minus negative 9. 4 minus a negative 9. The minus the opposite, or the opposite of a negative, becomes a positive. So this becomes 4 plus 9. And 4 plus 9, they're both positive. So we're going to add, same sign, add, take the sign of the larger value. 9 is larger than 4, 9 is positive, so our answer is positive 13. 4 plus 9 is indeed 13. Here we have negative 4.2 minus negative 3.6. Negative 4.2 minus negative 3.6. We're going to use this rule right here, number 1. Minus a negative, or the opposite of a negative, is a positive. Negative 4.2 stays, but minus a negative becomes a positive 3.6. Negative 4.2 plus 3.6. Now I have an opportunity to subtract 4.2 and 3.6. When I'm subtracting decimals, we're going to borrow 1 from the ones place and make that, instead of a 2, a 12. 12 minus 6 is 6. 3 minus 3 is 0. So the difference, because we have different signs subtract, is 0.6. But because 4.2 has a larger value than 3.6, we're going to take the sign of 4.2, which is a negative. Negative 0.6. Let's try another one of those. Negative 1.8 minus the opposite of 7.5. Whenever I say minus a negative or minus the opposite, I know that I have to take that minus the opposite and make it a positive. So negative 1.8 plus 7.5. Once again, I have a different sign, negative 1.8 plus 7.5. I have a positive and a negative. Different signs subtract. 7.5 minus 1.8. We're going to need to borrow again. So I'm going to borrow from the tens place. That's going to make 5 of 15. 15 minus 8 is 7. 6 minus 1 is 5. This is going to be 5.7, but then I have to determine, is it positive 5.7 or negative? 7.5 has a larger value than 1.8. 7.5 is positive, so my answer will take that positive. I'm just going to show the positive so that you can see that I took the positive, but that's the same thing as just writing 5.7. Let's do some fractions. 1/5 minus a negative 3/5. What do we do when we see that minus a negative? We're going to change that to a plus sign. 1/5 plus 3/5. They have a common denominator already, so 1/5 plus 3/5 is 4/5. And I'm going to do one more with a 10 minus 15. 10 minus 15. 10 minus 15. 10 is positive, 15 is negative, different sign, subtract. So 15 minus 10 is 5. And then we're going to take the sign of the larger value. 15 is the larger value, and it's negative. So that gives us -5. Now notice how I did that without rewriting it as 10 plus -15. If you need to rewrite it as 10 plus -15 and then go through that process of seeing that 10 is positive, 15 is negative, 15 minus 10 is 5, 15 is the larger value, it's negative, you'll notice that we get the same exact answer, okay? We get the same exact answer. Now, if you can't do this problem the way I just showed you without having to rewrite it like this, that's fine. Rewrite it, and I promise after you do this problem quite a few times with practice, you'll be able to skip having to rewrite it as an addition problem. Now, in some of these homework problems, we're dealing with variables already. So let me just show you an example where we're dealing with some variables. So we're going to have 4x minus 7x. 4x minus 7x. That's the same thing as 4x plus -7x. These are different signs, so we're going to subtract 7x minus 4x. 7x minus 4x is 3x. And then we're going to look at which one has the bigger value. 7 is bigger than 4. 7x is negative, therefore our answer will be negative. So -3x. Let's try another one of those with variables. -2x plus -8x. This one is same sign. 2x is negative, 8x is negative, so we're going to add the two values. 2x plus 8x is 10x. 8 has a larger value than 2. 8 is negative, so we're going to take that negative sign. -10x. Now, it's important that you practice adding and subtracting these positive and negative numbers and doing all of the problems in the homework, because when we get to multiplication and division of positive and negative numbers, the rules change a bit. So they start to get a little confusing when you don't get all the practice in independently before learning the next lesson. So it's super important that you get this practice in so that you're training your brain, and then we can take on the new rules after already establishing the rules for addition and subtraction.